like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Also, the fact that we pointed out very early on there was no stacks being built up for Moo, so the Shadow Fiend didn't have any way, or any massive way of sort of coming back into the game. He just farmed efficiently through the camps and cycled between camps and lane. There was no big insta gold just ready and waiting to be taken.
Yeah, it was nice to watch his farming patterns, and I also like seeing the progression in Rabbit's mind as he kind of goes through the build and what he wants to go for. For example, he goes for the Aquila because he needs stats, and you don't ever go drums anymore. Like, that item has kind of been phased out for the most part, and so he goes to the Aquila because he realizes, okay, I need some sort of stats. If I just go Shadowblade, I'm gonna have like 800 HP against a team that has an Ancient Apparition. Like, I'm gonna get blown up if anything hits me. And so, good idea by him. And then I like to see the Shadowblade and how he utilized it. Instead of using it for team fights, he just goes through the jungle, kind of all-ins for the Ancient Apparition repeatedly, which I was a fan of. And NewBee had ways to get back into this game, make no mistake about it. Like, they could have won this game if 2 or 3 things break your way.
Well, game number 2 is here. NewBee going to show some strength, hopefully, and take game 2, picking up the Queen of Pain first, which IG got their hands on in the previous game. Sniper, Storm, Troll, and Bat Rider all banned out. What does this really leave, though? Because Chen isn't really first pick material in China, like you were mentioning in game number 1. It's more, okay, maybe we pick it as the 4th or 5th pick if it really does call for it. But right now, what do you think IG will be looking for? Shadow Fiend Ven, Shadow Fiend Rubik, something like that for Ferrari?
I don't even think SF is... You don't have to pick SF second. Like, it's not bad, but there are ways to get around it, as you saw in the last game. The Queen of Pain, though, I mean, it's a block pick just as much as it is something that's just really good. You see the exact same 4 bans come out in this game as you did in the last one. Things are switched up a little bit by who banned what. But IG, first 2 picks, yeah, I mean, they go with the SF. I was kind of hoping for something a little... like, the draft feels like the exact same, just in reverse.
It is very similar to a lot of other Chinese games. Like, I was casting the VP game tournament all the way up until semi-finals or grand finals, but it was always very similar. Occasionally, the Storm Spirit or maybe the Troll gets through because a team says, okay, we need to ban Wisp against HGT, or we need to ban Wisp here, and maybe banning out a different hero in the first phase, and Axe occasionally. One of these 4 heroes slips through, but they're pretty standard so far. IG go back with an AA, no Vengeful Spirit there for them.
It's like the exact same bans and picks, actually, like in the order too. So we see the first 4 bans are the same, the first 3 picks are the same. The teams are swapped, but there's no way that I think that this holds throughout. But still, Ancient Apparition, just a really highly favored hero in China. It's one of the few things too that can kind of stop teams from doing the surprise Roshan. It's like the Clockwork Rocket, but better. Because the Clockwork Rocket, all it does is really scout. The Ancient Apparition, it completely stops in its tracks. It's good against things like nobody's going to build a mech now, or it's highly unlikely. If NewBee decide to go for the route of the Juggernaut as well, it would stop the healing or damage progression, or the healing, which is really big. I almost said, and look at that!
Juggernaut.
I knew it.
Speak of the devil. But I was thinking as well, heroes like Treant, which we're seeing a lot of. Like European teams, they're picking up Treant as sort of a semi-core. Very early on, he's a support hero, very hard, but he does build up into Aghanims. In China, he still sticks into that 5 role. He's lucky if he gets a Blink Dagger 30, 40 minutes into the game, but there's going to be none of that. It's been such a great hero coupled up with Queen of Pain, Shadow Fiend, and Sniper, just giving them the potential to be so much more aggressive on their lanes. Without the Treant, a lot of, the majority of Chinese mid players are just sort of bring themselves more tangos or a salve very early on with a little bit of gold they have left over. I don't really see European players do that too often, though.
Yeah, I mean, Juggernaut, man. I saw this hero, like, I had to play against it yesterday. I think you casted me while I played against Eris. Every single time he saw me, he would just ult me, and I was like, what am I supposed to do in these team fights? Like, the hero's insane, and he farms so quick with it.
He broke some records. Like, I'm pretty sure highest farm on Juggernaut this patch. He had 820 GPM after 30 minutes.
Fantastic. And that was against us?
That was against you.
Good stuff.
He broke records against you. You gave Era a record in Dota 2. You should be proud.
I am. So I was a part of a record-breaking game in the best possible way. So Juggernaut, I mean, if you're on the dire side especially, it helps. Just because you can do Ancients and then the possibility of going for the Roshan is high, but Ancient Apparition, I think, deals with it okay. You can stop the healing ward. If you have Mask of Madness on and you get AA Ice Blasted, the damage is insane. That alone, plus like any nuke will kill you at that point. And so I think that's why you're seeing the resurgence of the Ancient Apparition. Also, it stops people from aggro tri-laning. Like, if you're in a defensive position with the Ancient Apparition, I think it gets really strong. And it has the option of aggressive tri-laning like we saw last game.
Yeah. It's kind of slotted himself into that role that Visage used to sit. You know, Visage used to be the king of tri-lanes, defensive or aggressive, and right now he's not picked up at all. He's relatively slow, he's not a good roamer, he's not really a dynamic hero at all. He fits into Drow strat right now, and even then, a lot of teams just skip over him completely, pick up things like Lina instead.
He's just lumbering.
Yeah.
It's too easy to kite him. Alright, so we see 4 out of the 5 heroes from the last game. We see the Rubik picked up. Did IG just pick up the same exact... Yeah, they did. They picked up the same exact support combo.
Yep.
I mean, they must really like... The Rubik against both of these heroes is really good too, because it's really nice in the sense that it gives you no outplay potential. It's not like you'll see a stun coming in and you can spin out of it or anything. It's either the Rubik has a lift on you or he doesn't. And that is honestly really difficult to play against as mobile heroes. Like Queen of Pain, Juggernaut, you can't really anticipate that. It's either you got lifted or you just blink away or spin beforehand. And then that sets up for really interesting stuff.
Yeah, definitely. NewBee now, taking out the Axe and Lion. Earthshaker and Clock are the bands out from IG, focusing on June's heroes. There's still Phoenix there, though. What do you feel about Phoenix in this game in particular? There's no real setup right now for the Supernova, but against heroes like AA and Rubik, you can trade hits relatively easily. It's just the fact that Chilling Touch and Telekinesis maybe zones you out of lane.
Yeah, I think anything at this point.
True.
AA plus Rubik plus like Luna, Dro, something like that. Life is going to be hard. Lycan, okay, is the pickup for IG. I thought it was going to be a ranged carry as well, just to kind of set the tone, but Lycan, I actually like that pick, because if you take a Dro or a Luna, going high ground and hitting buildings is really hard, but with Lycan, you can naturally just push into the high ground. Like, that was something that I really didn't like about NewBee's lineup last game, is that how are they ever going to breach a 5-on-5 fight without getting caught with a melee core, you know, like a Slark, which dies really quickly if you don't proactively use everything, and Shadow Fiend as well. You don't want him in a position where he's just beating on a tower, right?
Yeah.
Lycan, good pick.
Yeah, definitely. IG now with the Howl and Chilling Touch as well. It's going to be pretty disgusting when Rubik and AA decide to roam around and look for kills. NewBee take the Tidehunter for themselves. It's going to be rough for June. It's going to be really rough. But they still have the possibility to pull out the old trick, the dual offlane. Phoenix and Tidehunter offlane. You know, we've seen a lot of Chinese teams toying with this, where you've got two sort of 3.5 role heroes, where Phoenix and Phoenix and Tide, or Phoenix and Axe. Southeast Asia have tried the Zeus and Beastmaster, and Zeus and Axe, where one hero sits there and secures farm experience for the Tidehunter, who basically goes into a 1v1 with the safe lane hero, which would be the Lycan in this case, most likely. And then the Phoenix basically acts as a counter harassing tool, making sure he can turn things around back onto the AA and Rubik, but I'm not too sure. It's a really difficult choice because they don't know what the offlaner from IG is going to be. Juggernaut and Witch Doctor is going to have a decent time against anyone, though.
I think Mag would be okay. You need some sort of initiator for IG, because they don't actually have the best way to get on top and do their damage. You need some sort of initiating ability. I think Mag would be pretty good here. Yeah, I think Mag would probably be my favorite choice for this game. It would allow Lycan to do Ancients and stuff. He can do that anyways with Wolves, but it would give you some sort of crowd control against the Queen of Pain and the Juggernaut. So I feel Mag, yeah. Puck offlane isn't something we see often, but Clock's already banned, so is the Earthshaker and the Axe. So you don't have the best options to initiate there.
Bring back the Faceless Void offlane?
It's not terrible here. There just wouldn't be a lot of places to farm. Like, he would have to jungle at some point with Mask of Madness, and he wouldn't have that option. I don't know. You could see something weird like a Pudge offlane or a Sand King. Okay, that's a morph.
That is a Morphling. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Morphling. Now, they could go aggro try again, you know. But
do what they did last time.
But do you give Luo the Lycan?
No.
See, that's the issue I'm having. Is actually hero distribution. Who do they give which heroes? Because you're pretty much going to give Ferrari the Shadow Fiend, right? That's not going to go to Burning or Luo. You're going to give Burning the Lycan. So that would put Luo either in the offlane Morphling, which will go Strength Morph, or in the aggro tri-lane Morphling and go agility and just try and destroy this lane from NewBee. But this also makes NewBee go for a defensive trial lane. They're forced into that, so they can't go for the dual lanes that maybe they were looking at.
I think you're completely right there, because I think they considered it, but going for that, but at the same time, if you're IG, you'd be leaving like a Lycan against a solo Tidehunter, which would really benefit the Tide. Like you would see Tidehunter get such a quick 6, and if you aggro try and the other team has an offlane Tide, at that point life becomes miserable once he hits 6, because he can just TP, smoke, and kill all 3 of you with his Ravage.
Also, aggro try into bouncing cask and things like that. Rabbit spin, not gonna be the best for you. But so far, IG they've got pretty good pick off, some decent AOE. But they don't have that one spell. I like your idea of Magnus. They don't have that one spell to bring it all together and make sure that the enemy team is definitely disabled. I think that's what Lua's going to be looking for here. Try and lock down the Queen of Pain or Juggernaut before they can blink or spin. Land the Ice Blast, and maybe even Ferrari goes for an early blink. Go for the blink Requiem rather than going for a Yule Scepter first.
Yeah, I think with what IG have shown, they're trying to just go for some sort of split out, look for individual pickoffs. I think they're really going to heavily focus on this mid lane. And at top, the Morphling waveforms forward to try to get to this ward as fast as possible, but he's going to realize that nobody's going to be there, and NewBee are actually trying to secure the jungle, and 4 out of the 5 heroes that we saw last game picked up by IG. No, 3 out of the 5. And the Shadow Fiend has been swapped for the Queen of Pain, and the Lycan has been swapped for the Morphling. That's not right.
They had Queen of Pain, and they had an Axe.
Yeah, that's what it was. So
I was thinking, God, what was Lua's here? It wasn't Bristleback, it wasn't this, it was an Axe, yeah. Yeah, Lua even waveforming again to get up to top lane.
Gotta be fast. Gotta go fast.
Go fast. It reminds me of that puck move, or even TPing to the bot lane. We see that sometimes from Clockworks and things like that to get that very early aggro ward. So, laning-wise, what have we got? Ferrari pulled some tangos, heads towards mid. Faith, Burning, and Chuan down on this bot lane on AA, Lycan, and Rubik respectively. Roshan, why are they picking out Roshan? They want to go and bait this, hide in the fog, and try and turn things around at this rune spot. Because Sansheng, they've not seen him. They don't know he's gone in there. They do now know that there's an observer ward somewhere up on this high ground. The fight looking to kick off as Ferrari gets a couple of clicks in there. Telekinesis back onto the cliff as Moo is forced to level up Blink to get the bounty rune. Faith, though, caught in the spin, and that's going to be first blood going the way of NewBee. Chuan. He wanted to get some right clicks down into the river, but he'll get away with those boots.
They overestimated their amount of damage with Howl plus the Chilling Touch, but I mean, Moo just held the skill point. Like, typically you see the Queen of Pains go dagger, but they had to have known he's not a pub. Like, he's not gonna just immediately skill dagger and hope for that, and going all in, because they use like the lift and their next 4 right clicks all on Moo, and all he had to do was blink out, and then the cast hits at all. You're done for if you're IG.
Well, we were speaking of aggro tri lanes, and look what NewBee are doing. Sansheng, Rabbit, and a Banana all down here. Lina, Witch Doctor, and Juggernaut Burning. Not going to have a great time. The stuns and the damage output is pretty damn high. Banana, and then aggro tri lane as a Witch Doctor, what do you want to see him build into? Or is it just going to be holding on to skill points to see if he needs Voodoo Restoration? Because in the safe lane support role against certain offlaners, you max out Maledict so you can go and trade hits really efficiently with them. In this lane, do they need the heal?
I think so. I think it's useful. I don't think the Malediction is necessary. You just want no ability for IG to turn around, but I mean, IG have definitely inferior lanes this game. Like, the Shadow Fiend mid will do fine against the Queen of Pain, but you've also sent... You remember I said if the Lycan has to one against the Tide, it's going to be miserable for him, but the same holds true of the Morphling, who's pretty much a melee hero that does no damage, especially if you go for the Adaptive Strike build, and... I mean, you're seeing it right now. He's got boots and 47 damage against a 61 damage Tidehunter who's also relying on Anchor Smash to pick up CS.
Yeah, things are rough. Down at bot lane, Telekinesis back. Rabbit, Banana, and Sansheng told to sit down by Chuan. Make sure you don't play too aggressively. The sentry ward up here. The camp should be spawning now, right? Yeah, there we go. All de-warded up. Observe ward placed across here, blocking out the large camp and also scouting out the haste rune. But the Radiant also know what's going on. Sansheng, there's another telekinesis in a second. He's lifted up and brought up onto the cliff, but there's no follow-up. Just a cheeky little move from Chuan. I thought maybe there'd be some follow-through, but Banana not going to get there. Chuan is just doing everything. Chuan on this defensive tri lane has almost single-handedly ruined NewBee.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Okay, he's not. He's very, very annoying.
He's just kind of. I mean, he used all of his mana and he denied a haste rune, and I don't think that was gonna change.
He's stopped the first two like aggressive moves. He's baited them into trying to go for runes, so the supports haven't been there. He's allowed Burning to get a few last hits. Like, ruined was an overstatement, but he's definitely making life hard for them.
He has bothered the hell out of him. Like that's kind of like he's paper cut them.
And then now he's going to be sprinkling like vinegar and salt into the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ruined implies that, his family's like destitute and he just got divorced or something like that.
They've sold their family bakery and now they have to live on scraps off the street.
Yeah, exactly. He's just kind of been like enveloped. Like it kind of nicked his finger and now he's a little bit annoyed.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Blitz.
Man, you got to use correct terminology. Or just, you're going to put the wrong image in my head.
They're getting destroyed. No.
They've lost one hero.
Shadowfiend in middle lane, 18 for 10 up against the Queen of Pain's 8 for 3. Now, can I use the R word here? Is this a situation where I can say Moo has been demolished by Ferrari Shadowfiend?
I hope somebody watching doesn't actually think I'm serious. You can use whatever terminology. I'm just giving you crap because this is like one of the first few times I'm casting with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's funny to me.
It's funny to me as well. My face has got a little bit red, but
don't be. We're just having.
I'm still laughing. It's not an awkward laugh. I'm actually wholeheartedly chuckling.
This is how I mess with Toby as well. So you're just getting the good treatment of it. And
Moo has no blink, but Luo has no attack damage. He's going in for the right click. Nice attempted raise there, man. Ferrari, close, but not quite.
That was a really good attempt, but. Alright, so it doesn't matter though. Ferrari's got a full level. Like, that's a full level over the Queen of Pain here in a second. Once this wave finishes out, and that's a level 4 Queen of Pain, about to turn level 5 at least. But that's almost a level 6 Shadow Fiend, and Ferrari doing absolute work in this lane, and this is a lane that you definitely come out of okay.
Well, Ferrari, he sees Moo again. Just TP back to base. Is it time to launch the razors back out? Moo's going for a last hit. He's not going to get any. Top lane, June is battling it up with Luo once again. Man, Moo is taking a pounding. But Burning has switched back into the jungle here. Salves up with Chuan helping him out, holding that DD rune. Farming through the camps just a little bit. There's no transition from the bot lane yet. They've pinged him out now, though. Maybe they'll go for something. Another observe ward placed relatively aggressively, but take a look at that. Sentry ward's already down. Chuan, careful. Level 4, or level 3 Rabbit with a 2 in spin. He's going for the hits onto the wards, but here comes the cask. Rabbit with a spin, the Light Strike Array, and Chuan's dead.
Yeah, and that killed him so quickly. And you're actually seeing Rabbit go for a skill build, which I think I actually heard Hanskin say that he preferred in a situation where you're going aggressive with Juggernaut. It's still worth it to go for the Blade Fury, just because of the amount of damage that it'll put out and the cooldown and the mana reduction, and I completely agree. In a situation like this, what do you really need a single level of crit for? Like level 2 Blade Fury will be enough to kill the Rubik there, and it also makes it so that it's impossible to contest. And NewBee, they're going for the only thing they can. They have to slow down Ferrari as well, because he's just having a hell of a time right now. The Queen of Pain has 11 last hit. Ruined is the word. Like, that's the phrase that you would be using right now.
Well, they're still waiting in the wings. The Juggernaut build is pretty common from what I've seen in China. I've seen Sala do this as well with the 2 in Blade Fury. It's kind of similar to what they do with Troll as well. 1 or 2 points in the Whirling Axes, because the damage doesn't scale exceptionally well. It's mainly about the mischance and Whirling Axes. The magic immunity from Spin, is great. The little increase, the boost in damage there is good. But yeah, I agree. 1 point in crit. Not so great. Observer ward placed down by the Dire just before the Radiant one, so the Dire know exactly where the Observer is, as Moo is wandering around with an Invis rune in his bottle. Boots picked up now, and he's level 6. So Sonic Wave is available as Chuan, man. You're walking up onto high ground, you've got no vision up there, and you don't know where Sunshine or Banana are.
They know.
They know they're in that vicinity.
Yeah, because there's no. Here's how you know. Nothing's happening to the Morph at top. Morph knows that there's no pulls going on. Where could the supports be at bottom right now with Rabbit? Like, the towers, the lane has pretty much been pushed up, and no one's contested burning as well.
They smoke and walk straight into them. Cass gonna bounce between them. Light Strike Array down, but they're not gonna do too much. Moo blinked aggressively here, looking for Chuan as he keeps on advancing here into the supports. But Ferrari's already backing up to the mid lane. That's gonna be time wasted for Moo. That's gonna be lane pushing into his tower with a catapult.
Yeah,
Ferrari just double raises here, surely. Well, one raise.
that doesn't even benefit anybody. Like, it just kind of was a weird situation where it's okay, like, you didn't trade anything bad, you didn't lose anything on top of it, but it probably favors IG a little bit just because the Shadow Fiend has been dominating this Queen of Pain so hard. Like, the fact that the Queen of Pain has less CS than the Lycan in a matchup that's pretty much been 1v1, right? It's been way too rough for Moo right now. Like, Moo hasn't even died yet. Like, it's just the fact that the Shadow Fiend is zoning him out with raises and doing a better job, and SF gonna go get some insight, and he's gonna see that, or they're gonna D-ward, and at the same time he's going for the mech. Like, we're seeing that he's going for the mech. You don't just pick up a casual headdress.
Oh, why not? June is level 8, and he's got 1600 gold to boot. So an early blink on the cards for him. That could open up the map a little bit here for Moo, but I don't know. Rabbit needs his farming time as well. It's 8 minutes in, and with a safe lane, like full free farm Juggernaut, this is kind of the period where you'd like to see face boots and mask manners picked up, so he can go back into the jungle and keep his farm efficiency flowing like that. But right now, he's not even reaching level 6. He's been sharing experience with 2 supports. They've not been stacking or pulling. Sure, he's shut down Burning a hell of a lot. Looking at the net worth, Burning's at 2.5k. He's a good 1,000 behind Rabbit, but oh man. They went for it mid, I missed it. Faith goes down, but the return kill there from Ferrari takes out the Witch Doctor. For a second I thought they killed Ferrari, but it's only the Ancient Apparition now. Omni Slash Burning taken out! Rabbit hits level 6, gets the Omni down, and no creeps to save him.
Yeah, and that's the power of the Juggernaut. You really have to learn how to respect that, just because the amount of damage that he can put out is insanely high, and he felt probably relatively safe. And once he's got Wolves up and he's got 2 supports there, sure, but still, the amount of damage that comes out on that is too high. Ferrari, though, like we said, he did manage to get the kill mid as a trade-off, and so that's probably worth it for him, just because of how hard he's snowballing. And the Queen of Pain didn't get the last hit. It was the Ancient Apparition that picks up the last one on that. Or, not the Ancient Apparition, the Witch Doctor that got the last hit on the Ancient Apparition, and so that was probably a net win for IG, but what looms over you right now is the Juggernaut's getting huge, and the Tidehunter has literally never been touched. He's got Arcane Boots and a Blink Dagger with level 9.
Pre-10
like 9 minutes and 40 seconds in, and he's got 300 gold on top of that. Like, life against him right now, if your IG, is just impossible. What's gonna kill him? You have 0 burst damage. Like, you actually have 0 burst damage. You've got a Morphling as your core, who does no damage at all. Like, that's a support hero, essentially. Like, it's a support offlane hero. You've got a Rubik, which isn't known for being a burst damage support, and an Ancient Apparition that gives you icy hands.
I don't know. Maybe when Ferrari hits level 11, but even then, he's going to struggle to get that Requiem off. There's stuns coming out of NewBee from everywhere. Witch Doctor Cask, Ravage, Light Strike Array. It's going to be pretty rough, not just to get the damage out, but to get into a position where you could potentially do any damage to them. Laning phase-wise, IG have pretty much had the upper hand in the middle lane, but it's been middle lane alone. Burning needs farming time, and he's actually heading over towards top, it looks like. He can't go to the side shop over at bot lane, so he's thought, okay, I'll go for a bit of a wander, head up to top, I can farm up there. Faith, get out of my lane, I need some gold.
I think they're backing him up as well in case some sort of reaction comes out. The only thing that I don't like about IG's lineup right now is that they don't have the best burst potential, but the laning phase doesn't matter too much if you've got the split push ability with the Lycan, but you hope the Lycan has better farm than this at this point. Like, this is just a little bit ridiculous in terms of how little farm they have. And
how does Dire Courier die down there?
That was unexpected, because I didn't even see any heroes down there.
No, me neither. All of a sudden, it's just like Dire Courier has died with a branch on it randomly. But NewBee gone for the push through to mid lane. They are trading off here. As tier 1 drops to Burning. The Wolves, did he even... Yeah, he didn't howl there, did he? Or maybe very early on, but it's coming off cooldown now. June, a Ravage, Antler ready with a Blink Dagger. And Moo finally has the chance to pick up level 9, 4 in Scream, 2 in Blink, and 1500 gold.
Yeah, and I don't really know what he's going to go this game. Getting a BKB might be okay, but I don't really like first item BKB Queen of Pains. You could go for an Aghanim's as an all-arounder. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And NewBee doing the right thing, I think, going for this Roshan. Because if you know Ferrari's build, the one downside about going mech is that it puts you in a really static position. where you kind of have to go with your team and do stuff
Yeah.
because you don't survive on your own very well, even with the mechanism. And also, why would you not fight when you've got a mech up?
Apparently, wolves need no armor, but they do need courier kills. That's apparently what got the courier down at
Oh
bot lane.
yeah, we're so dumb.
And
We should have
yeah,
figured
and
that
maybe
out.
even Aegis deny here. No, the wolves get taken out. A bunch of
Oh,
heroes.
he does get the
stand-
rate. Oh my god, he got the last hit on the Roshan. You're godlike, Burning.
Burning so good. So
He snipes
Aegis.
the courier and the Roche.
That's so much gold just from the little wolves. So snatched by Moo there technically as Burning picks up the last hit. Oh man. And this is after Ferrari has basically destroyed this top tier 2. They've pushed through tier 1. It will get denied here though by the Juggernaut. Rabbit has enough time to clear out this creep wave, pick up a couple of last hits and finish that off. Mask of Madness, face boots, 700 gold, but nothing else for him. Well, Ferrari is already a third of his way to BKB. Moo has a point booster, so Aghanims is going to be his item of choice. As, the two supports over in the Dire, they're not looking too hot. The Lina, Tranquil Boots, that's all you need for now, but would love to be building into things like Urn and Dual Scepter. It's all about this Tide. When can June get that first big Ravage out?
Yeah, you saw them. At this point, honestly, Durka, I feel like it's just a tool of intimidation more than... You don't necessarily have to use it for Tide to be useful. It's just the fact that it's always there. Like, it always just kind of exists. It hangs over IG's head. It's like, do you really want to get into a fight with a Tide Hunter that can blink from anywhere and ravage you? It becomes a little bit scary, and so that alone, the presence of the Tide Hunter is doing a good job. And the Shadow Fiend, though, is progressively just getting so farmed. He does have the mech build, so I feel like they're a little bit... one-dimensional in what they're trying to do. Rabbit doesn't have a BKB. He has to be really careful here, and Burning spots him out.
They're going
Or
to try
Ferrari
this.
does.
The TP out though. Luo, he wanted to get the adaptive strike into Requiem, I think, there. And that's going to be the setup. But the spin and TP out from Rabbit, and now NewBee smoke themselves up, head past the Ancients, which are being farmed up by Burning. He's in a decent position here to spot him out, but June, he doesn't react. Ravage out onto one, Burning, yep. There's no chance of survival. He spots them and he's sort of like, well, deer in headlights. I've got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The Tide's just going to blink over, and now Ancients stolen out by NewBee as Rabbit comes in to clear up.
They have to be careful, though. Like, they just used Ravage on Burning. Burning can be up in 20 seconds. The AAO blast, if this hits as well. The Shadow Fiend, though, is so far away, and she is going to get the stun off on Banana, and NewBee have to run away from this.
Oh, Banana still dies. The Morphling Sonic.
Okay, they used a lot for that. They just Sonic Waved and Laguna Bladed a creep. I guess that's worth the 60 gold or so. I don't even know if that's worth.
That was it was the replicate, wasn't it? Shadow Fiend replicate?
Yeah. But I meant by the Ancients, and she just doing work there, and Ferrari unable to attend that fight. He would have loved to have been there as well. Like, that should have been a game-crushing fight. I'm sorry, I'm muddling words because I'm tired, that's all.
It's okay. It's okay, Blitz. We got you. We got you. Tier 1 at mid, no fortify for this because they use it up on the tier 2 at top. Banana.
I think IG want to fight this though. There's no Ravage up and they know it. This is going to be so bad for NewBee.
Sansheng is now being chased down by the Lycan and blocks him in. Adaptive strike again. That 10-second cooldown on the 4.25 second stun. It's a little bit too much for these supports to handle. Witch Doctor and Lina both drop. June picks up a full Hood of Defiance there to deal with Requiem and Ice Blast. Maybe straight into the pipe for the rest of his team. It's not an item we usually see unless someone's against a Zeus.
I think it's just good though, overall. It keeps your entire team really tanky. IG don't have the best physical damage on their supports in their offlane. If you notice, like, the Morph has nothing for physical damage. He's not going to really build into it either. Like, you might see a Blink or a Yules on him. Rubik, like I said, I can't say it enough, no physical damage on him. The Ancient Apparition is his Ice Blast. So, typically, I don't know if you'd go for it if Burning had more farm. But all Burning has is he's level 11 with the Vlad and 1200 gold. Like, this is not the type of Burning that we normally see.
Yeah, he needs a little more room for himself. Smoke here from NewBee, though. Tide, Witch Doctor, and Lina, they're waiting for one more. Because Rabbit's all over at the Ancients. He's not actually going to come and join in on this. And in fact, the two supports split up. It's going to be June and Banana heading up here to try and find Luo, who picked himself up a Midas. He's got another 1400 gold. He's going to get scouted out. June with a gush, but I'm not sure you can find this kill. Waveform out. I mean, Moo's going to try and chase with the Maledict down. But there's a tier 1 still standing. TP reaction could come in at any time, and diving a Morphling under a tower, not going to be your best course of action.
Yeah, definitely. NewBee, the thing is that IG kind of have they've got the SF with mech, and so wherever they go, you know, they're going to be grouped up as 5. And NewBee are kind of in a similar situation with the Tide Ravage timing, right? Like, you have to fight around whenever you have Ravage. If you don't, you can't posture like they did mid. Like, mid was just a bad posture. They stood together as 5. They kind of looked like they wanted to get into a fight. But how the hell do you engage when you don't have your Ravage against a Shadow Fiend that's stat farmed?
He just gets reclaimed there. Queen of Pain doesn't have that get out jail free card anymore. They're actually going even further onto this tier 2. June obviously does have Ravage back up. They've got every spell in their arsenal ready to go at their disposal. Did they actually come back and defend here, IG? They've got Lure here just standing, throwing out adaptive strikes over and over again. Ice Blast to defend from long range. There's no real reason to commit. They're giving Burning Space mid. They're actually outfarming NewBee. Sure, they lose a tier 2 tower, but tier 2 at top is, you know, relatively meaningless in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and IG doing a better job of splitting up the map, and this is kind of the downside of NewBee's draft, is that they don't have the best gank potential when your Lina doesn't have Yules or something like that, and you have to waste so much of your Tide getting around the map. Like, if he uses Ravage on a single target hero again, I think IG just group up and take a tower right after that. And you saw that's what happened in the last time, is that once they don't have Ravage up, it kind of resets NewBee into a weird position where Rabbit isn't farmed enough to threaten by himself. Like, he's only got a Mask of Madness, like you said. So if you're at this position and you're NewBee, just don't get split pushed out. Try to farm up more on the Juggernaut. He's going for the Battle Fury build.
Yeah.
I think this is reflective of just what he thinks this game is going to turn into. Like, he thinks he needs to clear creep waves really quickly, which is probably the right idea, because if IG win one fight against a Lycan, it's like you lose double racks or something.
Chuan has only just hit level 6. He was level 5 until like 1 creep ago, or maybe 2 creeps ago. But he's got Tranquil Boots, he's got his Spell Steal now, and Blink Dagger up on Lure after the Midas. So he's got that long range initiation. Burning, not going for any fighting items just yet. Pretty standard so far. Vlad into the Necro Book, but out farming this Juggernaut it's going to be difficult. Then you look at Queen of Pain, she's going for the same route. Same kind of story, realizing, okay, this game could potentially go very late, and we're getting out-farmed by the Shadow Fiend. It's time to start catching back up. Midas for her, get her up to level 16 a little bit faster, finish off the Aghanims, and she'll have that done at a reasonable time as well.
Yeah, you have to go Ags here for the Queen of Pain, just because you don't want to go BKB, but at the same time, you don't want to be in the situation where you go the Necro 3 as well, like last game. I just don't think it's very effective here. The Midas puts you in a position where you don't have to be so afraid of the Shadow Fiend, because I think you're right, is that she has to somehow keep up with the Shadow Fiend, but Midas, I think, is the best way to do it instead of trying to force fights or go for YOLO solo kills, right?
Yeah. Well, Moo continues farming up. There was a failed smoke there from NewBee as they headed through the Radiant Jungle. Now there's a wolf following Sansheng. What's he going to steal this time? Steal Lina's items, because she's only got a Magic Stick and Tranquil Boots.
And Faith picks up his Midas of his own. 2 Midases up on IG right now, and the Lycan is going to go for the Necro 3. To be expected. Ferrari's got a BKB, a mech, and 1200 gold on top of that. Like, he's monstrous in terms of farm right now.
Well, so far, what are we looking at damage-wise? IG, they came back from a 3,000 net worth deficit to NewBee in the laning stage, 10 minutes in, with a couple of kills. With the Roshan steal and the Courier kill, I think those were pretty big spikes there for them. Experience, they've done the same kind of thing, but that was a small, minute, 2-minute period where they did get the Courier snipe and the Roshan steal, but from then on, they've kind of made NewBee afraid of them, even when Ravage is off cooldown. They've managed to split push on side lanes with Ferrari on one, Burning on another. They've actually smoked up now and looking for someone at the Ancients. Ancients have been dewarded. They were sentried up by IG just to stop them getting stacked by the Juggernaut, but look at this. NewBee are pretty much all in the Radiant Jungle. There's one hero here, Sansheng. Do you get spotted? Where do you go? He's going to walk into them. No! Lure's ready with a blink and adaptive strike. They're going to spot him now. He's in their vision. He's in their range. They're backing up. They don't know who's behind him. The Wolves are coming in. They've scattered out. Yeah, now they know. Easy kill. Pretty simple target here onto Sansheng. And that's going to be a quick kill. As Rabbit TP's up to top lane, there's no way they can get into position to go and fight 4 versus 3. Because IG have already made their way out.
Yeah, and IG, they've got a really good Roche lineup as well. And if they just get 1 or 2 pickoffs, NewBee have to be really worried. And I think it's actually on NewBee to kind of group up, just because IG, the potential to go for pickoffs like that using the Wolves for vision, which they are, and Moo is just going to go down so quickly.
Adaptive Strike and a couple of raises was all it took. The Ice Blast lands long after the fact. Lure with the waveform, level 4, but it's not Blink Adaptive. You actually cannot react to it. The amount of times Banana's dead as well, man.
It's just kind of funny to see. Like, this stun lasts forever. It's like a Beastmaster roar.
Yeah, or a full duration arrow. The first time I ever saw this was at some Southeast Asian game in like Division 2 of the MLG Pro League. I was like, what are they actually doing? And then I saw it work. The main combo I thought here from IG would be Adaptive Strike into like Blink Requiem. But it sets up for triple raises, sets up for Burning to catch up with Shapeshift and Ice Blast to hit. There are multiple ways here to get the damage down, and the biggest problem is for NewBee is that Jug can't spin, Queen of Pain can't blink, and even if she has a BKB, there is actually no way to react. Sure, there's a cast time, and there is a way to, maybe if you've got super fast fingers, but if you're getting blinked on and maybe fogged by the Morphling, there's very little you can do.
Yeah, there's almost no time to react to that. It doesn't even matter at that point. You'd have to like preemptively BKB or something, just to anticipate that coming in. And it's a vision game at that point. Like, if you have superior vision and he's not in the fog and you see him come up, then you can do it, and then Morph's in a position where he's just blinked up to 5 of your heroes and you blow him up. But even then, he's got waveform, and so just the amount of farm that this Morph has, getting this Blink Dagger at such a reasonable time, and NewBee are kind of forced into this position where they can't really make full use of their Tidehunter anymore either. And Burning going for the split push at top. We saw it happen last game, right? Where he just kind of forces somebody up, and IG can be in a position to punish with the Roshan, where he can just kind of come in, waltz in, and do that.
Well, Queen of Pain has stopped with the Aghanims. Ultimate Orb into Hex. No, it's got to be Lincoln's, right? It has to be Lincoln's to deal with the Adaptive Strike. She's pissed.
He knows at this point. It's just too hard to deal with it. And IG, Chuan draws a really poor kind of line that doesn't really make sense, which they aren't following, but I think it's the gist of it was, let's go for Roshan here or try to contest it. They don't necessarily need Burning for this. NewBee have to finish this so quickly or they're going to lose their base at the same time, and I think IG's just trying to buy some time for Burning to be able to take off top. NewBee aren't doing this quite fast enough.
Are IG waiting for NewBee to kill it? And then going to fight. Ice Blast going to launch. Rabbit does pick up Aegis Immortal, but here comes the Adaptive Strike. 3-man Ice Blast. The Queen of Pain does blink out, but that's it. Requiem down and 2 people dead. Rabbit. He managed to get his Omni Slash out. I got a little bit of lag there with the Chinese server. Sonic Wave onto Ferrari. The Light Strike Array. Not going to catch anyone, but Rabbit against the DD of Ferrari. There's no escaping that. And take a look at top. Burning. 1 versus 1 against June's Tidehunter. There's another kill that happens down in bot, but this tier 3. That's the important thing. Glyph is forced. There's no buybacks over on NewBee, and June has no mana left. There's no Ravage. There's nothing to stop this. Burning's backing up.
Yeah, I think he knows the Queen of Pain's coming, but I mean, Chuan stole Omni Slash and destroyed that Juggernaut. Like, he went to town on him, and I mean, IG just superior team fight over there. There wasn't a whole lot for them to react to. Moo doesn't survive long enough for him to stick around. And that's the scary thing about playing against a Morphling that's this farmed as an off-lane support-style Morphling where you just initiate in with your stun. It's so scary for the Queen of Pain. Like, he can't really time out the damage, right? It's like 10-second cooldown. How do you really predict for that? You're just counting the 10 in your head. You just assume it's up at all times.
Yeah. Also, the fact is that 4.25 second duration, for half of that time, you actually stun someone up. So you can kind of think of it as, a 5.75 second difference between stunning someone and then having back up again.
Yeah,
June
for sure.
Heads into the Ancients. He's not gone for the pipe. He's not finishing that up. Refresher Orb is on the cards for him with that Perseverance done, and Rabbit just keeps on trying to farm through. Still behind the Shadow Fiend, who finishes off his Skadi, but Rabbit with the Yasha. I don't know. Do you finish off Manta? Is that a casual Yasha just to give you the move and attack speed? Because right now there's nothing really to dispel. You can't dodge Adaptive Strike, right? There's no long projectiles that gets launched out.
Yeah, it's really fast. Like, you'd have to just preemptively spin as soon as you see the morph. Like, your finger just has to be over the button. And I mean, NewBee are backed into a situation where they got the Roshan, yeah, but you lost a lot of damage off of top, and that probably means more considering you just got obliterated in that team fight, and Burning didn't even have to show up. All he does is pressure the map, And in terms of net worth, he's overtaken the Queen of Pain, and he's
Oh,
just
the
behind
Ravage onto the BKB Ferrari. They'll still Omni Slash him with a mech. Now turn back. Requiem just about launch. Rabbit gets obliterated. Ferrari takes him out. Now Burning comes in. The Ice Blast trail still onto that poor old Tidehunter as Lena tries the last ditch Light Strike array. But 4 heroes down for NewBee, only finding the SF. And that was 1 versus 4 basically from Ferrari there.
Yeah, it really was. Him able to get that ult off and killing Rabbit, he definitely didn't see that coming. And I mean, the damage from IG, they know for a fact that Ravage is on CD. I don't even think this buyback slows them down. They know that Omni Slash is on cooldown as well. They probably just take down the bottom tier 2 tower, or the tier 1 as well. I mean, I think IG just, honestly, they can keep going for whatever they want at this point. Like, they can slow down the game if they want to, but they're not. It's not necessary. And Omni Slash stolen again. That's all they were aiming for. Like, he stuns him so he can't spin.
Lure has a Dagon. He just jumps in there, down to strike, like you said, to steal the Omni Slash for Rubik, but he zaps the Juggernaut as well a little bit with that little bit of burst damage. Chuan has a replica.
He's waiting for it. He's waiting for the. Okay, so the adaptive strike. Oh, if that had landed, that was 100% dead Quap. They have to be so careful now that this Rubik actually picks it up and Banana's going down for sure.
June blinks forward, but he's still got no Ravage. Chuan, okay, forfeit your life. Witch Doctor for a Rubik trade is not such a big deal because he basically forced 4 heroes from NewBee to be there defensively, just so that someone like Moo didn't get caught out by the adaptive strike.
It's really weird because they saw them coming and they knew that he had Omni Slash, but they still kind of just ran in one by one and were like, okay, let's test the waters here. And I mean, NewBee, it feels like they're just getting outplayed here and picked apart a bit. And with Burning getting as farmed as he is now, this should mean his BKB is completed like the next 2 creep camps. And once you get BKB Necro 3 on Lycan, there's nothing to stop you from slow pushing. Like, there's nothing on NewBee aside from that's going to stop the Lycan from just split pushing like this. Like, yeah, the Juggernaut can, but he's the majority of your physical damage, and you need to kind of commit him to team fights, whereas IG aren't put in the same hole. Like, Ferrari's got a Scotty. What? He's so farmed right now.
Yeah, plus 1,700 gold. I mean, right now, there's no real way for NewBee to stop this pain train coming from IG. They've kind of got to cut the brakes of IG and force them to, dive hard or something like that, because fighting in their base is going to be difficult. There's going to be choke points around these tier 3 towers where the Ice Blast will hit. Ravage won't do too much. We've already seen Ferrari pop his BKB at exactly the right time to counteract that, even though June blinked bang on top of him. And the amount of times we've talked about the blink Ravage against BKB targets, if you blink right on top of them, then you can still stun them up. But Ferrari, the pianist, fast on the fingers. Chuan in the dire jungle, dancing around, not sure what he's aiming for there.
I think he's just scouting out.
Oh,
if they're smoked up as well, it'd be a good idea too. And Mood kind of farming out. He actually opts to go for a Hex. He needs this as well, I think. Like, he needs some way to deal with before he gets the BKB off. Like, they need to jump while the BKB's, while somebody's Hex or something like that, and try to put out as much damage as possible. But if IG just group together, the effectiveness of it kind of gets limited, and they have to be so careful about this Morphling who's 3, 0, and 10, and just has godly farm right now for the type of hero that he is. And
the smoke pops. They know someone's here. Lure blink forward. Adaptive strike onto June, so we can't Ravage. That's 4.5 seconds. He's down 4. Ice Blast. Yep, see ya. He's gone. And with Mood trying to battle it up with Lure here, still burning on the hunt. Sunshang, Necro will take him down as Banana. Critted once, stunned up, and with 3 hits, he's down. Rabbit and Mood, the last one standing. And with these 2 cores, they've got no Ravage, no stuns, no support. How do they battle up against IG?
Yeah, and Faith just TP's bottom. He's going to push this out and get some farm, because he's not necessary in these fights at this point. Like, he's got, I think that's his, yeah, that's going to be his Aghanims as well. He's actually a little bit further away from it, but he's got a piece of it coming, and IG don't necessarily need him to push. I don't even think they go for a push, though. Like, it would take them a little bit too long. Forcing buybacks here isn't even that big of a deal because of the position that you're in. Like, you're so far ahead. Burning, like you said, he just 3-shots everybody. He just walks in, waltzes in. Banana, with the amount of farm he has, I mean, if you just click on his hero, he's got nothing. Like, what's he meant to do against a PKB Lycan, Durka? This life was not made for him.
I actually don't know. try and buy a Ghost Scepter, but he's running around with 2 gauntlets. There's really no way. His farm priority has been pretty low. Sansheng, they've given him a little bit of room to try and build up into a 4 staff, but still.
Faith is being cut out here, and he doesn't have a TP or any way to get out, and he's trying to fight toe-to-toe with Moo.
He did put the... No. Did they steal his gem? I saw him put it on the courier. It's in the base. Yeah. I checked the courier and I was like, hang on a second. Where I saw him put it on the courier. Where did it go? No, he places it down in the fountain. So not giving that away. At the same time as he brought out the 3rd component of his Aghanim Scepter, like you were mentioning, as Chuan gets his 4 staff delivered. Ferrari, what is your next big item? Butterfly? Well, apparently cancelling TP is his next big decision, as they want to go up onto top lane. Rabbit backs himself up.
Oh, Rabbit. He does have the ward up there, so he sees this coming. If he didn't, he would have been popped so quickly. Like the Lycan with his wolf form on, plus the 4-second stun from the Morphling, who's also got a Dagon 3, Durka.
Yes. Yes, he does. 1,500 gold as well. This is Morphling switching back into some pretty hefty damage. I don't know if you still go E-Blade, because you're not going to get that much damage from your Adaptive Strike. If you are full on in strength. But he just keeps spamming the Dagon recipes. Just keep it going. If he stuns up the Queen of Pain, 1800 HP. If actually, he's getting to a point where he can maybe just kill Banana. How much damage does level 4 do? 700 burst damage plus his waveform. He could potentially just insta-kill Banana.
Yeah, Banana's at a level of farm that you'll typically see on a support in a losing game with no map control. Not able to finish any sort of items. I mean, does it really matter though? Like, what's he gonna build at this point as a level 9 Witch Doctor?
An urn!
It's one of those things that you had to see that Durka like lifted his arms up. It was adorable, but yeah, what's he gonna build right now that impacts anything? Like it's not on him at this point that will really change anything. And Burning drops his Quelling Blade, picks it back up and drops the TP instead. He's got the cheese on him. The SF's got his Aegis. Almost a fully completed Butterfly on him. Only like 1,300 gold away from that. And if you're IG, you're just kind of cozy. Like you're kind of securing up your slot at ESL right now.
Yeah, right now, 15,000 net worth lead for IG over the course of this game, and it's pretty much the same story as we saw before. NewBee do decently on multiple lanes. They hold their own, but after that, it's just IG in-game decision making. Mid-game, late game, they've just got it nailed. It's not big sweeping. It's not a big sweeping statement. It's just every single little nuanced move. Especially game 1, like the one that we pointed out was the Roshan move, where NewBee moved in to try and spy out the Rosh attempt, and they sort of wrapped around the wraparound. And right now you can see Chuan signaling out. Look, you've got your replicant over there taking Ancients. They're probably going to come and try and secure this tier 2 at bot, because that is the last bastion of defense for NewBee right now. That is their opening to the Roche pit when it respawns next. In quite some time, we might see the high ground push come before that, but that's where Moo's standing right now. He's standing at this tier 2. Guys, come and help me, please.
He chilled on that cliff for quite some time, so he's probably just talking to his team during this time, trying to figure out what's going on, because there's nowhere for him to farm. You can't push out really far as the Morphling just because against the Morphling, because he blows you up instantly. Like he's got, what is that? Yeah, he's got a Dagon 5 now. Like nobody's safe. If he gets stunned, the thing about the Dagon 2 that really helps is that what's the point of popping BKB or spin or something like that when you've got 800 HP after the Dagon?
Yeah.
Like you're just gonna go down from right clicks right after that. That's what it really helps with, and that's why Luo last game, I didn't think he played amazingly considering the start he had, but considering the start he had this game, he's playing phenomenally.
Oh, June. Adaptive Strike, where's the Ice Blast? It's getting launched now. It's going to be a little bit late, though. Still connects. Yeah, Wolf's chasing. They could try and follow through here, but IG just back themselves up. Talisman Evasion on the floor for Ferrari. He's dropping it, picking it back up, waiting for the courier to come in to finish off his Butterfly.
Yeah, he's got his Butterfly fully completed. He's got the Aegis on him. I think this is the time, like you said, they're going to go for this last line of defense from NewBee, the tier 2 tower. There's no reason to get this, because if for some reason they lose a fight and get obliterated, at least they'll have this gold to kind of soften the blow.
A little bit of tower gold. Burning. Cheese up on him. And I like seeing this. It's kind of obvious, but Ferrari with Aegis Immortal, the Shadow Fiend, while Burning has the cheese. Once you've popped BKB and Shapeshift on the Lycan, you can't have them when you come back to life with Aegis Immortal. So it's kind of one of the other. You go in without them and then respawn and use them, or you use them and then die, and then you're sort of feeling, well, I shouldn't really have done that. So Ferrari gets the chance to sit up on high ground pretty freely, while Burning sits in the back line, just waiting for NewBee to blink Ravage. Where actually is June the Tidehunter over on the sides, hiding in the trees, waiting for his moment to strike. But tier 3 has already fallen. Ferrari still there. BKB already popped. There we go. Requiem now. Rabbit has a BKB of his own as Luo is looking for the stun down. Burning is sitting on the back lines. Shapeshift up and oh man, June. Where did June's HP go? Ice Blast will take out Banana and that's it. NewBee are down and out. IG demolish Rax. Chilling Touch and Howl. That's it. Game over. NewBee get 2-0'd here by IG in the ESL 1 Chinese qualifiers for Frankfurt this year.
Yeah, that game looked a lot smoother for IG. They just took the game and ran with it. Didn't really give NewBee the best opportunity to come back. And like you said, in terms of the laning phase, I mean, things went pretty well for NewBee. Like, their top lane, it was an advantageous lane. The Tidehunter really got farmed. Like, we were talking about how insane his farm was, right? Like, he had a 9-minute, 40-second, like, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Also the fact that, we pointed out very early on there was no stacks being built up for Moo. So the Shadow Fiend didn't have any way, or, any massive way of sort of coming back into the game. He just farmed efficiently through the camps and cycled between camps and lane. There was no big insta-gold just ready and waiting to be taken.
Yeah, it was nice to watch his farming patterns. And I also like seeing the progression in Rabbit's mind as he kind of goes through the build and what he wants to go for. For example, he goes to the Aquila because he needs stats, and you don't ever go drums anymore. Like, that item has kind of been phased out for the most part, and so he goes to the Aquila because he realizes, okay, I need some sort of stats. If I just go Shadowblade, I'm gonna have like 800 HP against a team that has an Ancient Apparition. Like, I'm gonna get blown up if anything hits me. And so good idea by him. And then I like to see the Shadowblade and how he utilized it. Instead of using it for team fights, he just goes through the jungle, kind of all-ins for the Ancient Apparition repeatedly, which I was a fan of. And NewBee had ways to get back into this game, make no mistake about it. Like, they could have won this game if 2 or 3 things break your way.
Well, game number 2 is here. NewBee going to show some strength, hopefully, and take game 2, picking up the Queen of Pain first, which IG got their hands on in the previous game. Sniper, Storm, Troll, and Bat Rider all banned out. What does this really leave, though? Because Chen is
actually, like, in the order to... So we see the first 4 bans are the same, the first 3 picks are the same. The teams are swapped, but... There's no way that I think that this holds throughout, but still, Ancient Apparition, just a really highly favored hero in China. It's one of the few things, too, that can kind of stop teams from doing the surprise Roshan. It's like the Clockwork Rocket, but better. Because the Clockwork Rocket, all it does is really scout. The Ancient Apparition, it completely stops in its tracks. It's good against things like nobody's going to build a mech now, or it's highly unlikely. If NewBee decided to go for the route of the Juggernaut as well, it would stop the healing or damage progression, or the healing, which is really big. I almost said, and look at that!
Juggernaut.
I knew it.
Speaking of the devil. But I was thinking as well, heroes like Trian, which we're seeing a lot of. Like, European teams, they're picking up Trian as sort of a semi-core. Very early on, he's a support hero, very hard, but he does build up into Aghanims. In China, he still sticks into that 5 role. He's lucky if he gets a Blink Dagger 30, 40 minutes into the game, but there's going to be none of that. It's been such a great hero coupled up with Queen of Pain, Shadow Fiend, and Sniper, just giving them the potential to be so much more aggressive on their lanes. Without the Trian, a lot of, the majority of Chinese mid players are just sort of bring themselves more tangos or a salve very early on with a little bit of gold they have left over. I don't really see European players do that too often, though.
Yeah, I mean, Juggernaut, man. I saw this hero, like, I had to play against it yesterday. I think you casted me while I played against Eris. Every single time he saw me, he would just ult me, and I was like, what am I supposed to do in these team fights? Like, the hero's insane, and he farms so quick with it.
He broke some records. Like, I'm pretty sure highest farm on Juggernaut this patch. He had 820 GPM after 30 minutes.
Fantastic. And that was against us?
That was against you.
Good stuff.
He broke records against you. You gave Era a record in Dota 2. You should be proud.
I am. So I was a part of a record-breaking game in the best possible way. So Juggernaut, I mean, if you're on the dire side especially, it helps. Just because you can do Ancients and then the possibility of going for the Roshan is high, but Ancient Apparition, I think, deals with it okay. You can stop the healing ward. If you have Mask of Madness on and you get AA Ice Blasted, the damage is insane. That alone, plus like any nuke, will kill you at that point. And so I think that's why you're seeing the resurgence of the Ancient Apparition. Also, it stops people from aggro tri-laning. Like, if you're in a defensive position with the the Ancient Apparition, I think it gets really strong. And it has the option of aggressive trilaning like we saw last game.
Yeah. It's kind of slotted himself into that role that Visage used. Really first pick material in China, like you were mentioning in game number 1. It's more, okay, maybe we pick it as the 4th or 5th pick if it really does call for it. But right now, what do you think IG will be looking for? Shadowfiend Ven, Shadowfiend Rubik, something like that for Ferrari?
I don't even think SF is... You don't have to pick SF second. Like, it's not bad, but there are ways to get around it, as you saw in the last game. The Queen of Pain, though, I mean, it's a block pick just as much as it is something that's just really good. You see the exact same 4 bans come out in this game as you did in the last one. Things are switched up a little bit by who banned what. But IG, first 2 picks, yeah, I mean, they go with the SF. I was kind of hoping for something a little... like, the draft feels like the exact same, just in reverse.
It is very similar to a lot of other Chinese games. Like, I was casting the VP game tournament all the way up until semi-finals or grand finals, but it was always very similar. Occasionally, the Storm Spirit or maybe the Troll gets through because a team says, okay, we need to ban Wisp against HGT, or we need to ban Wisp here, and maybe banning out a different hero in the first phase, and Axe occasionally. You know, one of these 4 heroes slips through, but they're pretty standard so far. IG go back with an AA, no Vengeful Spirit there for them.
It's like the exact same bans and picks.
Just it. You know, Visage used to be the king of tri-lanes, defensive or aggressive, and right now he's not picked up at all. He's relatively slow. He's not a good roamer. He's not really a dynamic hero at all. He fits into Drow strat right now, and even then, a lot of teams just skip over him completely, pick up things like Lina instead.
He's just lumbering.
Yeah.
It's too easy to kite him. All right, so we see 4 out of the 5 heroes from the last game. We see the Rubik picked up. Did IG just pick up the same exact... Yeah, they did. They picked up the same exact support combo.
Yep.
I mean, they must really like... The Rubik against both of these heroes is really good, too, because it's really nice in the sense that it gives you no outplay potential. It's not like you'll see a stun coming in and you can spin out of it or anything. It's either the Rubik has a lift on you or he doesn't. And that is honestly really difficult to play against as mobile heroes. Like Queen of Pain, Juggernaut, you can't really anticipate that. It's either you got lifted or you just blink away or spin beforehand. And then that sets up for really interesting stuff.
Yeah, definitely. NewBee now, taking out the Axe and Lion. Earthshaker and Clock are the bans out from IG, focusing on June's heroes. There's still a Phoenix there, though. What do you feel about Phoenix in this game in particular? There's no real setup right now for the Supernova, but against heroes like AA and Rubik, you can trade hits relatively easily. It's just the fact that Chilling Touch and Telekinesis maybe